Hi fellas, in this video of beginner-friendly Linux distros, we have a Linux distro I'm excited about because... which I use myself, by the way. So yeah. There are two versions for OpenSUSE Linux. Yeah, they also exist, but more to that in a bit. Leap, which is a stable release distro, and Tumbleweed, which I use myself, that is on a rolling release. Installer options for KDE, GNOME, and XFCE, desktop and server configurations, secure boot, LVM partitioning, BTRFS with snapshots, and full disk encryption. Before all of that, we're mentioned for other versions of OpenSUSE Linux. And those are Leap Micro, which is the immutable stable release distro for servers though, MicroOS, which is the immutable rolling release distro, also for servers, Slow Roll, which is the slower paced rolling release, and Kalpa, which is the immutable rolling release with the KDE desktop environment. There's also another one called OpenSUSE Aeon, but it's in release candidate stage right now. There are a couple of versions for different architectures, since the majority, including myself and you, are on x86. There we can either get the offline install or the network install. As you see, the network install is way lighter. Here's the comparison. Okay, here we do the same setup: 4 cores, 4 GB of RAM, and 50 GB of storage space. First thing we see is picking between OpenSUSE Leap and Leap Micro. We change system language, keyboard layout, and time zone. Configure network settings if needed. We already got a pre-configured disk partition, but we can make our own if needed. We can also adjust the software we want, like desktop environments, KDE, XFCE, and GNOME. We picked KDE. Some of the base software are XEL Linux support, basically security policies, and we get a software manager. Some multimedia stuff like media players, sound editing tools, and media manipulation software. And of course some off software. We can also add, if we want to add, a file server, mail news server, web and LAMP server, DHCP and DNS server, directory server, and a KVM host server for like managing and monitoring virtual machines on one machine. And of course, authentication. We gotta make an account. We also create a root password. Before we hit install, I noticed that the installer is a window in Firefox, which is new to me and fascinating. While it installed, I have to say the install was pretty straightforward. All I did was set a time zone, create an account, and pick the software I want, and that's it. Gets a pass here. Also, while I looked through the installer, I saw flatpak and SEL Linux for flatpak, which is fascinating. We are booting, and first thing I see is a custom KDE boot screen. And we agreed with, well, KDE Plasma, we know it, we love it. And also, of course, not to forget the welcome screen. A small introduction on how to install Chrome in case you need it, our documentation, a way to contribute and make your own OpenSUSE Linux. Also a way to download software, but you're not redirected to a GUI package manager, but instead to the website where you're shown how to download software using the terminal. Okay, why not? But for beginners you might want to use something called Merlin, where you do a distro upgrade and download packages. Flatpak is pre-installed, but is not in the package manager, so you have to insert it yourself. We have to use the terminal once, but bear with me, okay? Sudo flatpak remote add, if not exists, flathub. https dl flathub.org repo flathub flatpak repo, and now flatpak remote add, if not exists, subset verified flathub-verified flathub.org repo flathub flatpak repo. Now using discovery we can download flatpaks using the GUI. Besides that, we got some more KDE Plasma software that we usually get. We got, of course, our beloved LibreOffice. Would I recommend OpenSUSE Leap for a beginner? Personally, yeah. After, of course, using the terminal once for implementing flatpaks, you're basically good to go. Even reading in the forum that people do recommend it for beginners. So this gets a big fat pass. And as I remember, I use it myself. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode of beginner-friendly Linux distros. See y'all in the next video. And don't forget to hydrate y'all. Bye.